With each small step, a world you'll find. Words grow stronger, like roots unwind. Welcome to the Fluent Storybook. Here, we bring stories that make learning English easy, fun, and full of confidence. Let's dive into today's story. Aadland had always wanted to improve her English. She tried so many things, watching movies, listening to songs, and even using mobile apps. But somehow, she always felt nervous when she had to speak or write. She would think, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh at me? One sunny afternoon, Aadland sat in her living room, flipping through her old English notebook. The pages were filled with notes, grammar rules, and vocabulary lists, but it felt overwhelming. She sighed and thought, learning English shouldn't be this hard. Just then, her friend Elena arrived for a visit. Elena had been living in another city for a year. When they sat down to chat, Aadland noticed something different about her friend. Elena spoke English so smoothly now. Aadland couldn't help but ask, Elena, how did your English get so good? Elena smiled warmly and said, it's a simple habit, Aadland. I started journaling every day. Aadland raised her eyebrows. Journaling? What's that? It's writing a little bit about your day, your thoughts, or anything you want, Elena explained. I do it in English. At first, I wasn't good at it, but over time, my English improved a lot. Aadland tilted her head. But my English isn't good enough to write. I'll make mistakes. Elena laughed. That's okay. Mistakes are part of learning. You don't have to write perfectly. Just start small. Even a sentence or two every day can make a big difference. Aadland wasn't convinced yet. Does it really work? Writing doesn't sound like it would help with speaking or listening. Elena leaned forward and said, think about it this way. When you write, you're practicing how to form sentences and express your ideas. It trains your brain to think in English. And when your thoughts become clear, it's easier to speak and understand. Aadland began to see the magic in Elena's words. Writing didn't seem like a big task. It felt like something she could do. Okay, she said hesitantly. I'll give it a try. What should I write about? Anything, Elena said with excitement. Start with something simple like the weather or what you ate for breakfast. The key is to write every day. Over time, you'll notice how much easier English feels. Aadland felt a spark of hope. Maybe this simple habit could really help her. She promised herself she would give journaling a try, even if it felt strange at first. And with that, Aadland's journey toward better English began, one small sentence at a time. The next morning, Aadland woke up feeling determined. She remembered her promise to try journaling, but she wasn't sure where to start. As she sat by the window with her cup of tea, she looked at the blank notebook in front of her. The empty page stared back at her, making her feel nervous. She picked up her pen and hesitated. What should I write? She wondered aloud. She thought about Elena's advice. Start small. So, Aadland wrote her first sentence. Today is sunny. She looked at the sentence and smiled. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The next day, Aadland wrote again. This time, she added a little more. Today is sunny. I saw a bird outside my window. Writing 2 sentences felt like an achievement. She didn't worry about grammar or spelling. Instead, she focused on putting her thoughts on paper. By the end of the week, Aadland noticed that journaling was becoming a part of her morning routine. She would wake up, make tea, and spend 10 minutes writing in her notebook. It felt like a quiet conversation with herself. Some days, she wrote about what she did. I went to the market and bought fresh apples. Other days, she wrote about her feelings. I felt happy today because I talked to my friend Elena. To keep herself motivated, Aadland set small goals. She decided to write at least 3 sentences every day. If she felt inspired, she would write more. But even on busy days, she made sure to write something. Aadland told herself, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. After 2 weeks, Aadland started experimenting with her journaling. She tried writing in different tenses. Yesterday, I baked a cake, or tomorrow, I will go to the park. She also began describing things in more detail. Instead of writing, I saw a dog. She wrote, I saw a small brown dog with fluffy ears. One morning, Aadland had an idea. She placed her journal and pen on the small table next to her bed. This way, she wouldn't forget to write. Seeing the notebook every morning reminded her of her new habit. It became as natural as brushing her teeth. Sometimes, Aadland felt tired or unmotivated. On those days, she would write just one sentence, like today was okay. And that was fine. She didn't let herself skip a day. Aadland knew that even a little effort mattered. By the end of the month, journaling had become a daily ritual. It wasn't something she had to force herself to do anymore. Instead, it felt like a comforting routine, like a quiet moment of reflection before starting the day. Aadland realized that this small habit was helping her grow, one page at a time. A month had passed since Aadland started her journaling habit. She didn't think much of it at first. It was just a few minutes of writing every morning. But one day, she began to notice something different. It started at the local café. Aadland often visited the café to grab her favorite coffee, but she would usually just point at the menu or use single words like, coffee, please. She was too shy to say more. But that day, when the barista asked her what she wanted, Aadland surprised herself. She said, can I have a medium latte with extra milk, please? The words came out naturally, and the barista smiled as he took her order. That's a great idea. Aadland realized that her daily writing practice was helping her organize her thoughts and speak more clearly. Even in casual conversations, Aadland felt more confident. When she bumped into her neighbor in the hallway, she didn't just say hi and walk away. Instead, she asked, how was your weekend? Her neighbor responded with a friendly smile, and they had a short chat. Aadland couldn't believe it. She was starting conversations in English. One evening, Aadland decided to test herself. She opened an old English book she had bought months ago, but never read. Before journaling, reading even a single page felt exhausting. But now, she noticed something surprising. She could understand more words and sentences without looking them up. Her writing habit had improved her vocabulary and grammar, without her even realizing it. Aadland also noticed a change in how she felt about English. Before, she would feel nervous or frustrated whenever she had to use it. But now, she felt excited. English was no longer a scary language. It was becoming a part of her daily life. She thought about all the small moments that had added up: the coffee order, the team meeting, the chat with her neighbor. Each one was proof that her habit was working. Aadland realized that her confidence in English wasn't just about learning rules or memorizing words. It was about using the language every day, even in simple ways. Her heart swelled with pride as she looked at her journal. Those little sentences she wrote every morning had built a bridge between her thoughts and her words. Aadland felt like she was finally crossing that bridge, one step at a time. Aadland couldn't keep her excitement to herself anymore. Journaling had transformed her English in ways she had never imagined. She felt more confident, spoke more naturally, and even understood more when she listened to others. One evening, she called her friend Elena. the person who had first introduced her to journaling. "Elena," Aadland began, "I can't thank you enough. Journaling has changed everything for me. I feel like a new person when I speak English." Elena laughed softly. "I'm so glad to hear that. I knew it would work for you. You just had to give it a try." Aadland paused for a moment and then said, "I want to share this with others. I want them to know how much journaling can help," and that's exactly what she did. The next day, Aadland visited her neighbor, Emily, who had always struggled with English. Emily often told Aadland how hard it was to practice. She didn't have anyone to talk to and felt embarrassed when she made mistakes. Aadland smiled and handed Emily a small notebook. "This is for you," she said. Emily looked confused. "What's this for?" "It's for journaling," Aadland explained. "Just write a little in English every day. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. Just start with one sentence." "It worked for me, and I know it can work for you too." Emily hesitated. "But my English isn't good. What if I can't think of anything to write?" Aadland placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Start simple. Write about the weather or what you ate for breakfast. And don't worry about mistakes. The more you write, the better you'll get." Emily took the notebook and promised to try. Seeing her friend take that first step filled Aadland with joy. Soon, Aadland began sharing her story with more people. At work, she encouraged her colleagues who were learning English. At the café, she told the barista about her journaling habit. She even joined an online group where people shared their language learning experiences. One day, Aadland decided to take things further. She wrote a social media post about her journey. She shared how journaling had helped her overcome her fears and improve her English. "If you feel stuck or scared," she wrote, "just pick up a pen and start writing. It's a small step that can lead to big changes." Her post received dozens of comments from people thanking her for the idea. Some even shared how they had started journaling and were already feeling more confident. Aadland felt proud knowing that her experience was helping others. As Aadland reflected on her journey, she realized how far she had come. What started as a simple habit had turned into a powerful tool for growth. Journaling wasn't just about practicing English. It was about believing in herself and taking small steps every day. She looked at her journal, now filled with pages of her thoughts, memories, and dreams. It was more than a notebook. It was a record of her progress and a reminder of her determination. Aadland smiled and thought, "If I can do this, anyone can." To anyone who doubted themselves, Aadland had one piece of advice: start today. Write one sentence and let it grow into something amazing. You'll be surprised at what you can achieve.